Remember how we said there's no structure? We're going to talk about fun periods.
Fun periods.
Fun periods.
Code red at the board meeting. We're talking about periods.
Periods at the board meeting. Professionalism.
This is our fun meeting.
You didn't ask for opinion.
But we're going to give it to you anyways.
It's the board of the Bling Bling Broads. I'm Sol.
And I'm SANNA.
And we're going to talk about periods today.
Yeah, periods and cycles.
Periods and cycles. Okay.
And I guess we can probably touch base on birth control.
Yes, we can touch base on. We're just going to have a fun conversation this episode. No structures other than at the end we'll summarize what we say.
Yeah.
But
and this is honestly for the boys too.
yes.
Because, well, if you are straight and you're a man, you most likely will be in a relationship with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very, very good for you to know about periods and cycles. And these are all unique from girl to girl. They're all different.
Yes.
But it's very helpful. Like, this will help
Mm-hmm.
you. And for girls, this will help you too. Because
Mm-hmm.
we're old women with a lot of experience in life.
You say it like we're so old. We're not. We've got probably another 30 years of bleeding left.
My eggs are dying.
Your eggs are dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone take my eggs. The period is essentially the womb crying because it didn't get fertilized.
Which is crazy. So that's how they decided to do it.
Yes.
I thought we could do it without the pain.
Exactly, just the bleeding and the yeah. Anyways, periods are not gross. Let's preface that.
Yes.
Periods are not gross. They're normal.
They can be gross.
They can be gross. Oh, come on. We're trying not to deter people off of periods. And after I said
They're normal, but they can be gross. Like,
okay.
well, the thing is, if you fall and you like slid your leg wide open, there's blood coming out. That's gross too.
What are you doing? A Jackson Pollock painting? You're just gonna
I'm just
paint
saying,
with your
like,
blood?
it's okay if you think it's gross too. Like, you don't have to
Yes.
find it to be
Yeah, you don't
this
have to.
beautiful thing. Like, it's,
Yeah, they're not pleasant. Yeah, it
exactly.
is a hassle. It's messy,
Yes.
but they're not gross.
But okay, let's talk about cycles.
Okay, let's talk about cycles. Okay, you had the conversation on the cycles.
Okay, so I've spent a big part of the last few years
Mhm.
figuring out my cycle.
You did.
Yes, because there are so many patterns.
Mhm.
It's like anything in life. You just have to be aware of it and you have to look for the patterns
Mhm.
and you'll see them. But so I've been on birth control.
Mhm.
Does not really work for me.
Oof.
I think it's uncomfy. I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of girls can
Yeah. I think most
Can feel
birth
that.
controls are not pleasant.
No.
Yeah.
But what I would say is work on figuring out your cycle. Like,
Yes.
when I started tracking, so the very
Mhm.
first time where I tried to start tracking it, I kept an Excel spreadsheet, like, not joking, Excel spreadsheet, and every day I would write down 1 or 2 like key emotions that I felt that day.
Ooh, so she's basically doing what these tracking apps are doing.
Yes.
But before, okay, that shows how old you are, how archaic that is
Wow.
to do it on an
Well,
Excel sheet.
I just wanted to see the data for myself, right? So I
patterns.
did that
Mhm.
over a few months, and then I do use tracking applications
Mhm.
to see where my period's at and where I'm feeling. But what I noticed was that I follow the same patterns every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was ovulating, when I was younger, I never knew when I was ovulating.
Mhm.
Now I know every time when I'm ovulating.
Yeah.
Because it's there's patterns. Like, I will feel down. Like, this is how it goes. I will feel like an energy kick.
Mhm.
Then I'll feel down for a little bit.
Mhm.
Then I'll feel a slight energy kick.
Mhm.
And then my ovulation is hit.
Really? That is very interesting.
And it does it every single time. And same thing with my period. It's
Mhm.
just stretched out. So it's the same pattern, just longer.
Right.
And so I know that I'll have my cramps. I'll do the regular cramps and all the fun stuff. And then I'll hit a high. and then my period will come.
See, I'm a little bit different. So I'm very regular. I'm like 28 to 34 each month, but mostly it's like 31 days. I hit it very regularly. So for me, I don't really go through emotional up and downs, but I can tell, it's TMI, tell a lot from my discharge what stage of my cycle I'm in. And then before my period, I know my period is coming because I crave chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Like all I want to eat is chocolate cake,
Mhm.
and I can't stop thinking about chocolate cake. That's how
Yeah.
I know my period is coming.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and something that I noticed is that I will feel my energy highs right after I'm ovulating and right after my period. So, for example, this is where it applies maybe to you. I love running. So I will always do my runs. I'll do them throughout the month, right? But I will make sure that I do longer or more intense runs right after I've had my period and right after I've had my ovulation because I run so well because that's my energy highs. And then, for example, the week of your period, as you know, you feel weaker and you feel more like close. And so if you're doing weightlifting or if you're training, you might feel like weight's way more. And just knowing those things, you can adapt slightly.
Right.
Like,
and then you can feel less shame about not performing as well.
Yes. Or stick to the same weights.
Yeah.
And just be aware that you're like, be aware of your feelings, like recognize them is what I'm saying. Because it helped me so much with my positive self-talk, like, hey, you got to the gym. I know it's a little heavy today. You got this. Like, you've done the same thing before. It's just today's going to take a little bit extra energy from you. And if I give it my all, then I know that I gave it my all for that day. And I just think those positive self-talks and conversations that you have with yourself throughout your period is so, so important. And therefore, I think you just need to track your cycle, track your mood, track your emotions. Because you're going to live having your period for many years, for decades. And unfortunately, I'm on my period is not always going to be a valid excuse.
Right.
Like, I would love it to be, but the world doesn't stop because you have your period. That's the truth. So just learn how to adapt, learn how your body feels so that you can plan accordingly. Like, I don't make a lot of social plans around my period because I know I'm going to dread it. Just like adapt your life to your cycle, but also learn how to live with it.
Right. I think, talking to you makes me feel like I need to do a little bit more when tracking my cycle in terms of emotions, because I feel like you have a lot of insight into understanding yourself. For me, it's just I know when I'm ovulating and I know when I'm about to start my period and I know how to prevent pregnancy. That's the purpose of me tracking my cycle, is so that I can prevent pregnancy is what ultimately it is. But it talking to you gives me so much more insight on how much power tracking your cycle could give you.
100%.
How much understanding you could have for yourself and your energy levels and stuff like that. More control of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're inspiring me here.
I've dealt with eating disorders, for example. That's tough. And unfortunately for women, our bodies change throughout the month. So like, body dysmorphia is real. And there's no wonder women struggle with it a lot because your body is changing. Like, you look snatched one day and then you'll be very bloated the next because you're ovulating. The thing is, if you can't learn, it's just the little conversation in your mind. Like, I am ovulating. My body is feeling bloated because it's working.
You get bloated when you ovulate?
Some people get bloated.
Well, not me, because I feel great around my ovulating times. I feel great. I look great. It's like before my period and after my period, I'm bloated.
Leading up to my ovulation and leading up to my period is when I am bloated. But I'm aware of, so like, look, again, every cycle is very different.
Yes.
So you need to know your own.
Yes.
So having, like, if you struggle with your body image, being able to tell yourself, like, hey, I'm ovulating, or I'm post-ovulating, whatever it is that bloating hits for you, and just being able to tell yourself, it's okay, my body's working, I'm bloated because of my period, not because I gained weight or because I ate this or because of this. Like, just be very, it's okay, let it happen. If you can just have that mindset, it will save you so much time, because I spent years worrying about what I ate and the cardio that I did, because the day I was bloated because I was pre-ovulating, and then the next day I would skip meals because I was
Right.
bloated.
Right.
And that's a personal, obviously that's not a
Right.
normal way of living, right? But I do believe that a lot of women can relate to that, or have at some point in their life felt like that. If you can learn when your symptoms hit, and then combine that with the positive self-talk, you can get through most of it, no problem.
It's a very inspiring pep talk that we just heard here. I'm inspired. Yeah, I need to track my cycle more. I was gonna say something to what you were saying, but I think we can circle back to it. Huh? What did you say? Brought to you by I couldn't hear you.
Okay, go for it.
You were talking about how great tracking your cycle is, but that reminded me about how, for me personally, I feel like it's unfair that most of the month is just prepping and getting over your period.
I know.
Because here's the thing, I have 1 week out of the month that I feel amazing.
Exactly.
And then the week before your period, you're bloated and you feel like shit and you want to eat cake. And I do eat cake. I treat myself to cake. And then you have your period. I mean, I'm a little tired, but then you're dealing with your period, so it's messy and it's a hassle and blah, blah. And then a couple days after your period, your vagina is still cleaning itself, so you have to deal with that mess because it's still pungent and cleaning itself. So it's cleaning all the dead cells out. And then once that normalizes, then you have 1 week. 1 week.
Like, where you're just like, I feel like myself
I feel
again. Life is
great.
great. And the way I forget about my period every single time. So at the end of the week, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming again.
It's just, yeah, because I just finished ovulating. So I know my period's coming. It's like, again, it's life, but also, I wish it was so much more simple.
Well, and that's where tracking your cycle actually comes in really handy.
Yeah.
Because then it's predictable.
Right. I'm aware of my patterns. My biggest hassle is I bleed a lot. So that's my biggest thing that I stress about when I'm on my period is because I'm bleeding a lot. It's just you have to constantly be worried about bleeding through. You got to be worried about your night sheets because I have to wear those giant diapers. There's night pad diapers, men, if you didn't know. It's like giant diapers.
That's hot.
Just so hot. And don't make fun of her for it. You know, I bleed a lot, so I have to wear them or I'm going to bleed through my sheets.
Yeah, like that's the option. So
yeah, that's the only option. So yeah, I don't love my period. Yeah.
I don't think anyone
loves their period.
But I think there's ways to
work through it.
Work with it. Like, it's a part of your life. Like, there's someone that I knew, and she did this thing I thought was really cool. But every week that was her period, she'd celebrate it. So she would do all of her favorite things on it.
Ooh. Yeah.
She would do all of her favorite things. She'd have like cozy movie nights. Like, she would arrange them and put them in her period week.
Oh, good.
Yeah. She was really good with that stuff.
Man, that's something you could do for your ladies. You know?
Just like to celebrate it. Like, she was just she changed her mindset essentially, where she said, my period is something to celebrate. I'm so happy that I have my period. Right.
Well,
and then so she associated the week with her favorite thing. So it became a highlight. And she just let herself rest.
That is a very good point you bring up, because the fact that you get consistent periods means you're healthy. The fact that you're getting your periods means your body is functioning correctly. Now, if you're bleeding constantly, that's abnormal. But if you're getting like regular periods, your body is functioning correctly. It means you're healthy. So yeah, it is something to celebrate.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to do a little bit more. I do treat myself with chocolate cake.
Exactly.
Well, actually, it's chocolate cake and McDonald's. Here's what I do. Okay. I crave chocolate cake the whole entire time. So if I can't get chocolate cake, then I'll get like a choco flan from like a Mexican restaurant along with like 2 burritos and some tacos, and I'll eat it throughout the week. Or I'll get McDonald's and I'll get the sundaes, and I'll get the fries, chicken nuggets, a burger, and I'll eat it throughout the week before my period starts.
Well, like that's how you can manage your period.
So I guess I do treat myself. Maybe I should
Exactly.
make it more of a party.
Yeah, well, or just be very aware.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have that craving, also feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, don't feel guilty about it. Your body is craving that because your body is needing it. There's science behind it. Your body is about to burn more energy, so it's prepping for it. So if your body is naturally craving cake, have some cake.
Well, yes, and like, which we've talked a lot about, like it's the mindset thing. If you tell yourself, I can have a cake right now, it's fine, like I'm enjoying it, then it becomes a good experience.
Right.
Like, make your period week a great experience. Because like you said, I only have 1 week a month where I feel good, and I relate to that. But then we need to switch that up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. Periods are a good thing. You know?
Yeah.
They're a good thing.
No pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain. Yeah, the only uncomfortable thing about my period personally is just I bleed a lot.
Really? Yeah.
I bleed 7 days. I bleed a lot for the first 3 days. And then after my period, I have a couple days where it's just cleaning itself out. So you're
wild.
dealing with the pungent smell. So that's the most uncomfortable part about my period.
I like bleed for maybe like 2.5 days, and then I go rough like a rogue on the third one.
See, look at you. You're lucky. But here's the thing: some like men could do when I was in relationships on my period. Just be affectionate. I think that helps for me.
Yeah, like you don't need to like make a party every time I'm a period.
Just be
that's
affectionate.
Honestly, like it's probably nice. Like I'm not saying it's not a nice gesture, but it's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
But like seriously, like hugs,
cuddles. Yeah. Also, I know I smell like blood. Don't comment on it.
Really?
Like, don't comment on it. I know it.
Like iron.
Yeah. Or like after. So I'm very insecure. So after I bleed, the pungent smell is just. It smells like a dead body down there, honestly.
And you literally started this podcast saying, periods are nice. They're not gross. And then you're like, it smells like a dead body down there.
Well, I'm just being honest here. I'm just being open about my insecurities with my period.
Sorry.
So I'm very aware of how it smells, and I can smell it, and there's nothing I can do about it because it's happening, okay?
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it, and sometimes when I'm sitting down and moving, I can smell it, and I'm very insecure about it. So if you notice it, just don't point it out. I'm already aware and insecure about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just be mindful, I guess.
Mindful,
of your comments. Yeah. And we can go into this more in a different time. But girls' cycles are 28 days.
Well, it's 28 through 35,
yes,
I think is the normal range. No, 40. 28 through 40 is the normal range.
Wait. 38 through 40?
No, 28 through 40.
I don't think 40 is irregular on my app.
No, 40, like up to 40. Because if your cycle is above 40 days, it might be, that might be considered, you might need to get checked out by your doctor. But up to 40 is fine. No, I'm serious. Look it up online.
No, I know.
Oh.
My cycle has been irregular for such a long time.
Oh.
But that's just my normal. It's irregular.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, women's cycles are 28 plus days, right?
Right.
That's how long it takes you to reset. Men's cycles are 24 hours. So this is not a bash on men, because they have a cycle too. Like they have high testosterone in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times they feel more mellow in the evening
Right,
because that's
right.
when they reset.
Right.
There's more to it, right? This is a very
Right.
simplified
Right.
version
Right.
of it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and it's not like the world is made for men. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying we both have cycles. Women's cycles just look different
Than men's cycles.
And
yeah.
there is a helpful way for men, if you are in a relationship with a woman, to tend to or to communicate or to be around your girl while she's on her period. And I'm not saying that that means that a girl can say whatever she wants to her man or do whatever she wants to her man because she's on her period. That's not an excuse.
Your period is not an excuse to be an asshole. Okay? No. Be a nice person.
Yes. But like, there is a way to manage it and be a little considerate that the cycle looks different.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Be considerate. Just understand that her body is working through some shit. It's okay, essentially what is happening is her egg, her cell, didn't get fertilized. So now
which is your fault. I'm just kidding.
Well, I think technically it gets so now well, okay. I think the cell technically gets reabsorbed into the body. The egg does, but then because the body prepped to receive a fertilized egg, now it has to get rid of all the stuff that it's prepped. So it's basically, it's mourning, essentially what's happening. It's emptying a dead cell is essentially what's happening.
It's your body crying.
Yeah, it's your body crying. Yes, your body is crying. So just be considerate of that.
Yeah, well, I feel like I understand, well, I don't, but I understand why the body is made the way it is, right? And that it does it every month. But since it plans and preps it, I feel like there should be a way where we can like communicate and be like, hey, no need to prep this month, but like next month we're trying to do prep. Like, it would be amazing if you could communicate like that.
That would be amazing, but that's not how the world works, and that's not how our bodies are built. But can we just say how amazing our bodies are? The fact that every month it preps to receive a fertilized egg, and it goes through that constantly. Like, it's amazing.
Just doing that.
Women's bodies are crazy. Yeah. But not all cycles look the same. We talked about that.
Yes.
And birth control affects it, so maybe we circle back and touch on birth control real quick. And then...
Birth control's tricky, girl.
Birth control's tricky. Let me tell you my birth control horror story. Are you a woman with a healthy and fertile cycle? Say hello to your little friend. Periods, your monthly visitor. So, I got the copper IUD, right? And for the first 3 years, it was good. And then all of a sudden, I started getting chronic BV. I would go to the doctor, and they would say, it should clear up. And so I took the medication. It cleared up for a week, came right back. And then they were like, just try some suppositories. Oh, by the way, BV means bacterial vaginosis.
Put it on the screen.
It's it's an overproduction of the bacteria in your vagina that creates a bunch of, like, sometimes it hurts when you pee, it smells, it's pungent, that kind of stuff. So it kept on coming back. I was like, there's no way that it's me that's the problem. It has to be my IUD. So I went to the doctor. They're like, there's no way it's the IUD. I'm fine. Okay. Took medication again, cleared up. I went back. Not that much later. They're like, okay, let me take a look at IUD. Okay, we took a look. There was, this is so gross. There was a ball of hair caught on my IUD string. So then the doctor cut it off. And so I took my medication. It cleared up, this time for 2 weeks. So I was like, okay. I guess it's clear. And then it came back. And so I went back to the doctor and I was like, I genuinely believe it's my IUD. It's my IUD. It can't be, like, I get there was that ball of hair. We got it out, but it's back again. It's my IUD. And everyone, like, doctors, I don't want to say doctors gaslight you, but they kind of do sometimes. Like they say birth control is fine. It has no effect on your body. You're perfectly
But
healthy,
that's
blah
straight up
blah.
lie, though.
IUD is not going to cause any problems. Well, it did. And it caused me many problems. Like I would get like random pains as well, and sometimes it would hurt. But anyways, so I finally got sick and tired of it. I was like, there's no way that it's not the IUD. So I went to the doctor. Oh, backtrack on that. So I was trying to get my IUD out, and then my doctor couldn't get it out. And she's like, I think it's embedded in your uterus. And so she's like, you have to get an ultrasound and an x-ray done. No, an ultrasound done, and you might have to do a full ultrasound done, full vaginal ultrasound to see if it is embedded. And it was going to cost me like $1,200. Yeah. And then my insurance wouldn't cover it because they were like, well, you didn't get your IUD put in under our plan, so we can't cover the removal. I'm like, medically, I'm having chronic BV, okay? This should be proof enough to where I needed to get it removed. Anyways, so then I was like, well, F it. I'm just going to go to Planned Parenthood, see if anyone can get it out for me, or at least do the ultrasound. And so I went, and the NP there got it out successfully. Super easy. But she's like, well, there's no way that the IUD's causing the BV. There's no way that it is. Guess what? I got it removed, took the medication, cleared up right away. It was my IUD. And then I talked to a bunch of other ladies about the copper IUD, and they've had horror stories too. Yeah. I'm not the only person, so like believe women when they say something is wrong.
Yeah, well, and be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful about the birth control. Do your research.
Yeah, do your research. I mean, I loved it for the first 3 years before I was getting chronic BV, and I don't regret getting it. But it was a bit of a hassle once I was trying to remove it. Ultimately, I'm grateful that people have access to birth control.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I have access to birth control. I just am staying away from birth control at the moment. And just tracking my cycle religiously and understanding how my body works so I can prevent pregnancy. And that's what I'm doing because I don't want to go through the hassle of birth control again.
No, I'm not a big fan of birth control. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like me on birth control.
Yeah.
I feel like a worse version of me.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people say that. I mean, birth control is great. Take control of your life. But it's not for everyone. And if you are wanting to prevent pregnancy, like SANNA said, track your cycle. It's good for your mental health. And it also will help you prevent pregnancy if you understand your body very well. Do some studying, ladies, up on your body. Men, too. Do some studies up on women's bodies.
There are ways that you can research different, because there's tons of different birth controls. Mm-hmm. So maybe do some research and not just take the first thing that your doctor
recommend to you. And if something doesn't feel right with your birth control, switch up your birth control. Yeah. Don't stick it out.
I've had friends who have used multiple birth controls to find the one that works. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go through that to find the perfect one for me. It's not important enough.
No.
So,
but if you understand how babies are conceived and you understand the human body,
which I think if you participate in that activity, I think you should know.
Yes, you should be responsible. So, yeah, birth control is cool, but I'm not a fan of it for myself personally.
Be careful. Track your cycles. Track your cycles.
Track your cycles.
Track your mood.
Track your cycles and mood.
And speak positively to yourselves.
SANNA, this has been a great learning experience from you. I definitely need to track my cycles too.
Track your cycles.
Track your cycles. All in all, I mean, fun little chit chat about periods. Periods are fun, and partners, be supportive of your partner with their period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They're not gross. They're inconvenient. They can be gross.
And she, like, you don't like it, well, she probably doesn't like it either.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, periods are a celebration, right? That's what we've
Yes.
learned today is
That
that
is what we have learned.
periods are a celebration, and track your cycles
Yes.
and understand your body, because your body is going through that motion every single month. I
Yeah.
feel like they don't educate women enough
No.
about what's happening with their bodies.
Yeah. You're gonna have it for a long time. Invest some time in
Yeah.
understanding yourself.
Yeah. So you can, yeah, you'll know more about yourself, and you'll also prevent pregnancy if you want to.
Yes.
But you can also get pregnant if you want to.
Yes. Cycle tracking has benefits in all directions.
Exactly. And treat yourself to some cake.
Mwah.
I'm gonna eat some cake. Anyways, board decided periods are cool and they're
Yes,
fun.
sir.
All right. Fun talk. Follow us on Bling Bling
Bye.
Board everywhere. Bye.
Bye.